Hey friends, and welcome to the Wine CEO podcast, episode number 121. I'm Sarah, your certified sommelier and host of the Wine CEO podcast. And today on the show, we are talking all about BYOB, so bring your own bottle. Is it socially acceptable to bring your own bottle to a restaurant? We're going to talk about that today because I think it's a topic that a lot of folks might feel a little uncomfortable about, but as someone who worked in restaurants for about 10 years, it is definitely not taboo. It is not considered a weird topic, so we're going to dive into it today. But before we dive into today's episode, I would love to take a quick moment to thank the sponsor of today's episode, Wash & Wick. Wash & Wick is a candle and soap company located here in my hometown of Orlando, Florida, and they specialize in making incredible hand-poured candles with essential oils and fragrances. My two favorite scents are obviously the wine-scented candles, and let me tell you, you are not going to find other wine-scented candles that have the most authentic aromas like these ones. Wash & Wick's co-founder is a certified sommelier just like me, and she does a phenomenal job of blending these candles to make sure the scents are authentic to be just the way Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc varietals should smell. So you should check these out. They have an incredible array of candles. You can head over to their website, Wash & Wick, use my discount code, TheWineCEO, for 20% off your purchase today. So this is a really fun topic because I think a lot of people are really uncomfortable bringing their own wine to a restaurant. And as someone who worked in restaurants for 10 years, let me go ahead and dispel any concerns you have about that. It is very common for folks to bring their own wine to a restaurant, and in fact, it's encouraged. There are some scenarios that are important to note in why a restaurant may allow you to bring your own wine. Maybe they don't have a liquor license, and so they're encouraging patrons to bring their own wine so that they can enjoy a beverage with their dinner because they don't have the ability to serve and sell liquor. It could be that this restaurant has a really small wine selection, and so they want their patrons to be able to bring in something that they know they're going to enjoy. Restaurants also understand that there are special occasion wines, and maybe someone has been cellaring a wine waiting for that special birthday or graduation, and so they're bringing a really special wine so that they can enjoy it with loved ones. Now, for those restaurants that do allow you to bring your own wine, there are often rules that go along with this. So it's always important to call ahead and ask the restaurant what their specific policies are around bringing your own bottle of wine. And these rules will generally depend on the type of restaurant. So if this is a really casual restaurant, they might be a little more relaxed about some of their rules. Whereas if they're a more fine dining restaurant, they may have a really strict policy around how they want you to go about bringing this bottle of wine and how it'll be served. Almost always there will be something called a corkage fee, and this is basically a fee that's going to be added to your bill at the end of your meal so that it accounts for the service of serving this bottle of wine. The price could depend on the restaurant, again, whether this is a more casual establishment or a more fine dining restaurant, but a corkage fee is the restaurant's way to recoup some of the money because you didn't buy a bottle of wine from them. So it could be anywhere from like $10 to $100 or more, and it's going to be another opportunity for the server to get tipped based on a service charge, in essence, for the service of opening up that bottle of wine, pouring it for you and your guests, possibly cleaning glassware, preparing a decanter or an ice bucket, right? So all of the things that go around serving this bottle of wine, it's a way for the restaurant to recoup some of that revenue. Now, never ask the restaurant to waive the corkage fee. It's just considered rude. You're bringing your own bottle, and so they're offering up the ability to serve this bottle to you. It just comes with the policy. So it's part of the deal. If you're bringing your own bottle to a restaurant, just be prepared. You're going to have to pay that corkage fee. Now, you're always going to want to call ahead, again, because you want to check and see if you can actually bring your own bottle of wine, but also because there's often going to be a limit. So the restaurant might limit you to 1 bottle per person or 3 bottles for the table. So you want to definitely double check and understand what the total limit of bottles is before you show up at the restaurant. There can also be some other policies that the restaurant has. Maybe they're going to require that the server or maitre d' actually take the bottle from you when you arrive at the restaurant. They're most likely going to require that one of those parties also open the bottle for you. So again, when you call ahead, it's really good to ask about these questions, not just yes or no, can I bring it, but also what will the experience look like when I arrive at the restaurant? Should I give the bottle to anyone in advance, or can I take it to the table with me so that you can understand the restaurant's policies? And then lastly, there may be some laws that you have to take into consideration that the restaurant might be more familiar with than you. So maybe you have to bring the bottle unopened. Maybe it can't leave the premise if you have a little bit left over. So it's really good to just double check with the restaurant, ask all of these questions, and then follow whatever guidelines they've set for you. Now, there are definitely some restaurants that don't allow you to bring your own bottle of wine. This could be because they have a really extensive wine list and they're trying to encourage you to buy something off of their menu. It could also be because laws in that state or county county don't actually allow for a restaurant to serve outside alcohol. So it's always good to double check, because there may be a lot of restaurants in your area that don't actually allow you to bring your own bottle. Now, are there specific scenarios where it's okay to bring your bottle of wine? I mean, I've referenced some of them already, definitely. If you just want to try a special bottle, maybe you have a particular bottle of wine that you found that you're really excited about, and that seems more interesting than the wines that are on this particular menu. Great, but you could also have a special celebration, a birthday, a wedding anniversary. There are countless number of reasons why you would bring your own bottle of wine to a restaurant, and any of them are acceptable, even if you just feel like it. Again, as long as you do your research in advance, it's totally welcome and encouraged. Okay, so I've talked about a few of the rules around bringing your own bottle of wine to a restaurant. We talked about calling the restaurant in advance to make sure you're following all of the policies, making sure you pay that corkage fee and don't ask for it to be waived. But there's a few other tips that I'd like to mention as well. The first thing is, think about your dining experience and see if there's another opportunity for you to order a beverage from the restaurant. Maybe you start your dinner off with a cocktail and then you open up the bottle of wine that you brought. Or maybe you order a bottle or a glass from the restaurant and then you also enjoy your bottle. So think about if there's another way where you can, in essence, be a good guest, because this restaurant is hosting you and you brought your own wine, but you want to make sure you're giving back to the restaurant as well. It's just considered common courtesy, and as someone who worked in the industry, I always really appreciated that. The other thing I always appreciated was a tip. As a server or a maitre d' or sommelier, you are looking at this as an opportunity where the consumer didn't buy a wine from you, but you're going out of your way to serve this because you're in the hospitality industry. You want this person to feel welcome, and you really do want them to enjoy their overall dining experience. But it feels great when that gesture is appreciated by the consumer. So if you can, leave an extra tip, make sure you take great care of the staff. And one of the fun ways to do that, I always love doing this when I take a bottle of wine to the restaurant, is I actually offer some of it to the server or sommelier or maitre d', whoever served the wine to me. I will offer a taste of the wine, and especially if it's something unique and different that maybe they haven't heard of before, it is always so fun as that server or manager to be able to get a taste of that wine, because it might be something that they've never heard of or never tried. And it's also just another kind gesture from the guest that shows appreciation for the hard work that the staff is doing. So I know this was a really quick episode, but hopefully it was a fun one for you to learn a little bit more about the tips and tricks to bringing your own bottle of wine to a restaurant, and also made you feel a little more comfortable and confident doing this on your own when you have a special bottle that you want to take to a restaurant and enjoy with friends and family. If you loved today's episode, be sure to subscribe to the show, like and share with your friends. Don't forget to follow me on social media at The Wine CEO. I always love hearing from followers, so if you want to send me an email, sarah@thewineceo.com. I would love to hear what you are learning and loving in the show. And until next week, friends, I hope you drink something new and delicious, and I will catch you all next Wednesday on The Wine CEO podcast.